wash out this cord. I forgot about that.
All right, this is the Two Hippies, One Drunk Road Wife edition. In this show, we dive in a little deeper to what it's like traveling the country in a van with 3 comedy buddies. In our on-the-road episodes, we hit the highlights, and here we'll break down more of the day-to-day activities, things we are learning about each other, as well as focusing more on specific themes that may be harder to cover on a week-to-week basis. Subscribing to us on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, or iTunes, as well as reviewing us 5 stars is such a huge way to help us keep growing this and moving the journey forward. We do regularly mention our Venmo, Eric Fady, and we understand it's always tough to ask for money, but a way to also help us out without donating is to share any videos we put out on our Facebook or buy some of Tyler's art or some of my tarot readings. It also, as well, just to mention, we will be doing a fundraiser to try to get to make it through the next 2 months before we take a brief stop in Michigan. And that will be on May 27th, correct?
Yeah. Raising some money to get us all the way to the end of July. That's
right.
Kind of the thing.
Because
we'll be doing like a live for like a couple of hours.
And I should say that, these guys were originally only going to plan on coming out for a few months, and through nice donations and getting into some stuff that actually will be dealing with what we're talking about in this episode, we've done a good job at stretching the money and also through donations of keeping it going. So it wasn't like they didn't save money or none of us saved money. We did. We just actually got to go longer than we thought. So even by being frugal, you'll still need money.
Yeah.
So
yes,
exactly.
And we've said this before. We'll say it again. We can. We will dance for you. We will do dares. We will answer any questions.
I'll be playing music.
They're subject to.
I'll be playing music. Maybe some art. Less like demeaning stuff than these dares. I will be out of the room for the dares.
Right.
I'll not be there. I will give you my contribution of teaching you how to draw an eye.
There you go.
We may prank phone calls some of the places we've been to that were some of our least favorite.
Yeah.
But I've already decided how you're going to do that is I'm not going to let them believe that's why. I'm going to say, hey, we've been traveling the road for a while, and we're kind of calling people up on places we stayed that we've that have been notable or good, and then lay the hammer down.
Okay,
but
so
anyway, go ahead.
So just ignore what I said like 30 seconds ago that you heard.
Oh yeah.
Because we are live. Wanted to talk about food because that has been a huge factor. Obviously, being out on the road, having to manage your diet, having to figure out a way to do that cheaply while still getting the stuff that you need and not dying from like endless ramen noodles.
Which is what I will say I do the worst of. I am the cheapest in the sense that I eat the most unhealthy. I mean, we can talk about it, but I still do try. Like I buy a lot of times when you go to Walmart, I'll buy a thing of like, I always try to buy at least one healthy snack, like whether it's like some berries or tomatoes to just I get cherry tomatoes where I'll just munch on them.
Baby carrots.
Carrots are good ones.
That's a big one.
And strawberries. But I will say of the 3 of us, I eat the least healthy. It's not because that's what I want to eat. I am just so uber like ADD, not ADD, but like OCD about cheapness that I'm eating like, beefaronis. I go to lunch like today at our place. I have breakfast waiting for me that I still haven't eaten yet. And then like I have a lunch of a waffle, an egg, you know what I mean? Like stuff that I just got from the breakfast.
One of the funniest things, like, I don't know, somebody microwaving a waffle to me has always been one of the wildest things that Eric does. Yeah. I've never seen anyone do it.
I wouldn't
tell this trip.
And I would say it's all in the name of frugalness, though. I will say
it's the cheapness. You get a lunch and breakfast and lunch from the breakfast.
Right. That's my goal when we go to places with a lunch. So anyway, with that being said.
So I was just going to say, I figured a good place to kind of maybe really start with this would be, what were some assumptions we had before leaving about how this was going to work?
I'll say this, without you guys, because as some people know, I was planning this trip. There was a time when I was planning this trip before I knew you guys were going to go. And I am not trying to be like, I'm such a hard worker. I was working so uber focused on just saving as much money as I could. And the money is by far the hardest thing of making this all happen. So I didn't even take time to know how any of that would work. Yeah. I am sure my cheapness would have settled in, but I've told you guys before, I think I would have at the beginning, without you guys, done more fast food at first, thinking to myself, I'm on the road, I'm tired, I just need shit. I don't want to stop and, make stuff, even though some of the stuff I'm making now is not that intensive. Yeah. I didn't have a plan for food. Considering we talked again on this trip, I'm the planner. I kind of had the idea before you guys were even involved, and I didn't have a plan for how my food was going to go.
I would say I knew we would be making our food a lot, just because me and Scott had talked about, again, our budget that isn't endless. Right. If you want, check out our fundraiser.
Yes.
On the 27th of May. But I knew that it was going to be not a lot of sandwiches. I mean, I felt like I was going to have a problem if it was just sandwiches all the time. But we've kind of done a lot of weird shit that even the first night, we cooked eggs in the microwave and made little tacos with them.
I'll always remember
that. They were good.
I'll always remember that first night because I did what I think I would have done, which was we drove 8 hours or 9 hours and I went and got Arby's. And you guys were like, no, we got this thing. We're going to make these eggs in the microwave. And I was like, okay. But I knew
okay is appropriate for that response.
But I knew what I really should have known what I was doing wasn't going to last. And for example, let me just say this, and I know Scott, you're going to say something here, but just as an example, that was that night. And even a month into this trip, sometimes when we'd go on a 3-hour drive between destination to destination, it'd be like, well, we drove 3.5 hours. You want to just get some fast food real quick and then you'll go to Walmart. And that has now gone away where it's like, I really try to make sure I have something. So when we drive 3.5 hours, then I just make a sandwich or a snack. Yeah,
absolutely. And I feel like it's funny. Probably one of the largest bits of preparation that I and Tyler as well actually did on this trip was the food stuff. Because is somebody else trying to snake in on our fundraiser? Is that what's happening?
I know. We are all self-aware that we are 3 dudes having a fun time. For one, by the way, I've raised a decent amount of money from some charitable causes. I get that there's such things out there, but we're doing what we're doing. So
anyway,
but good luck to you.
Yes, and you're a fundraiser. I was gonna say it's funny. I've been a vegan for quite a while prior to this. Working in a sushi place, I headed into pescatarian mode.
Vegan is absurd of you to assert.
I pretty much
vegetarian.
I went from vegan to pescatarian.
I guess that's true.
I don't know what pescatarian.
It means you can have fish.
It means you can have fish.
So you can have eggs. I mean, were you having cheese?
Yeah. Exactly. At that point,
not vegan.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah. I went from that strict diet.
Yeah.
For a couple of years to basically just loosening up on fish.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I kind of known ahead of time. I'm like, I need to figure this out a little bit because I don't have as much I'm not picky at all as far as taste goes, but with my diet being what it is and me being kind of picky about nutrition, I knew it was going to matter. And thankfully, got Tyler on board with it too, who has more practical knowledge about some of that stuff than I do, because he's more into cooking, was a cook for a long time.
Not into cooking, but I did it.
You're a little into cooking as
I'm not into cooking. I like the food. I like the food when it's done. I'm not a huge... The thing is, you say that, it's hilarious. I worked in the industry for 12 years, and I've gotten many people being like, why don't you actually care about this? Why don't you actually you've been a cook for a very long time. Why don't you care about being a cook? And it's like, I don't have that drive to be like, ooh, I'm going to make something fancy. It's like, no, I want it to taste good.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be burnt. and like I have a standard because I've worked in the industry.
That's
for
fair.
years.
That's a good point.
Yeah, no, that's probably a more fair way to say it. But either way, I remember the first day when we were coming out to meet you the next day, and Tyler and I went grocery shopping. And it was, I remember being really stressed out about it at first, being like, holy fuck, I know, like, we've talked about this, we've looked some stuff up, but now that we're here, this feels very overwhelming. And thankfully, like, Tyler really started just kind of grabbing some stuff, gave it a little bit of structure, and then started being like, oh, holy fuck, dude, we can do this, we can do that, like, we got this, all right, okay, we'll grab these this time, we have other meal ideas for next time. And yeah, pretty quickly, honestly, the food stuff really fell into place.
Yeah, no, I definitely attribute the like doing groceries and stuff is like, I kind of thought that was going to be the case. Definitely thought that we were going to be eating out more. Yeah. I thought
because you tend to think that fast food is cheap and easy, and it's not either necessarily.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, just that we'd be eating more. Because like in most of the time when you go on a vacation or something like that, it's like, oh, let's go to this nice place.
Right,
like there's a cool atmosphere here. Let's do that. And we don't really do that. We do that with bars because we can get cheap beer.
And even that is because of comedy mostly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
I even mean like when we go out and do something like have a night or whatever, it's not us eating typically.
No.
It's us drinking.
The last time I believe that we ate out was Key West.
Yeah.
And then we actually went to a sit-down restaurant where there's a tip and a real meal.
Yeah, Sloppy Joe's.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't believe there's been a time before that.
No, I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
And I think that was literally only because we were in Key West and it was like this really cool thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like, I mean, because after Key West, before Key West, I think we've ate out 3 times where we actually sat down and ate. Yeah. One time in San Diego, and when we'd gotten some money from someone to say, hey, get a nice meal.
Yep.
We went to a Mexican place. One time in New Orleans.
Yep.
And then Key West.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean,
that seems insane.
Those were the ones I went through in my head. Honestly, like I think,
we have done fast
coffee
food,
or something at a nicer place, like in Charleston.
No, don't get me wrong. We have done.
Out.
Yes, we have done some. I got. You know what? In Key West, I got like a breakfast sandwich at a place.
Bought something off a hot dog cart.
Yeah. Right, but not sit down where you have a tape, like a tip and a waiter.
I would say technically you did because you went on that date.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I forgot about
that. Technically, I did too because I went on that date recently.
Yes,
in Denver.
And technically, I did as well on a date, actually. So, yeah.
I forgot about those. I forgot about those.
Not together.
No, not together. No, but they were very much for a reason. And I will say, I was very much in my head aware that I was spending money.
Oh, absolutely. Same.
So one of the other questions I was going to ask you, we could breeze past this probably kind of quickly because I think we've already covered it a little bit. Is how have our diets changed on this trip? And one thing I would say right away, just because we were talking about this a second ago, is I think we all eat less than we probably did.
That's what I was kind of saying is like, I thought I'd be eating a lot more.
I'm bad. I eat big meals. I'm kind of bad.
I would say you eat your meals are big when you eat them.
Yeah. I try to stick. I don't really snack. I try to stick to my 3 meals. I do eat more than you guys do. I'm already always been a bigger guy, though. I am not that matters.
Yeah, but I mean, you're 6. What?
It doesn't matter. You're over like 200 pounds, right? Too. Like
I'm at like
which is normal.
Right around 203.
203. Yeah. So you got to think about really seriously. I'm at like 140.
Right.
Like, so if you really think about that, you're sustaining 60 extra fucking pounds of human being.
Yeah. That's could be seen as I should be like I could be losing some weight.
A lot of it's that you're tall.
Yeah.
No, but I do. But I've always been a guy because of back in my day. It kind of sucks. I'm not. I know I was obviously never a professional athlete, but because of my back in the day of running all those marathons and like you get used to where you can eat a lot of food, and I like eating. I would eat 6 meals a day if it weren't for gaining weight. Yeah. I would. I wouldn't care. Yeah. I would eat 6 meals a day but I think I eat a little more than you guys. Like I said, food wise, and I think you guys eat a little healthier than me. But mine is all cheapness based. I know I've told you guys this before, and also I've said, for whatever it's worth, I'm doing so much planning that I just like opening up a can of beefaroni. Yeah. I know it's not good for me. I know it's very unhealthy, cheap
cold beefaroni.
I will eat cold beefaroni.
Yes. Out of the can.
So wait, so you're saying you think you eat more on this trip than you did prior?
No, I think I eat less. I by far eat less fast food. I do think I eat less food than I did on the trip before. But I was just saying I eat more than you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And by kind of decently amount. Like I eat bigger meals. But no, I do think I eat less than before the trip. I would say I'm not eating necessarily healthier myself, but I am not eating worse. And I think that's at least something for being on the road. And I know that I don't try to keep putting that on, but because of the fact of my aspect of the planning, and I'm not trying to make excuses, that is why I eat a little worse.
Yeah.
I know it's not good. It's not an excuse.
Because it's an easy thing you can just pop open and go with instead of having to put the effort.
And I'm not trying to make excuses. And by the way, it's not even, I've said this a million times, it is not these guys' fault about the planning. That is just something I have to do. We've stepped up, in fact, recently in the last months, and they do a little more. But there's an aspect of it that I know this isn't with the food, so I need to get off that. But
I was gonna say, okay, so some of this may have to wait till the end of the trip for a fully honest answer, depending on what you guys want to divulge. But cost saving techniques.
What do you mean?
Like, what cost saving techniques have we had?
I mean, I've kind of given mine, I guess. Literally stretching continental breakfasts into lunch and breakfast and lunch. That for sure.
So we talked about before Checkers. How for a while I had that, and I had one other thing. I don't know if we necessarily wanted to divulge about possibly going other places.
I'm okay with that.
Okay,
honestly, at
getting the breakfast. Sometimes you gotta, and we have talked about this.
Yeah,
on the podcast.
At this point,
going to different hotels. Yes, we have. On the road. Yes.
Okay, you guys yelled at me for making a post about it.
I think it was after that. I think it was after.
Was it after that? Okay.
Because at that it was the cat was out of the bag.
And hotels aren't watching a podcast. They might see something on Facebook.
So here, like, just to wrangle this back in, Checkers, we for the longest found out that they had a janky app system that allowed you to make new accounts and continue to get free food, which we definitely did.
Yeah, I highly recommend. I mean, actually, I think you can't do that now. We may have fucked that whole thing up. But
we either fucked it up or they figured it out. But we have had a few places, the Zaxby's where we've signed up to a few clubs of online.
Yeah, and Zaxby's was really good. They gave you a full meal.
Right, dude. Yeah, full value meal or whatever. I know they don't call them value meals.
Yeah, but you're getting fries, a sandwich, and a drink.
Right, exactly.
For free.
No, absolutely. And then, we have that. There's like a McDonald's and a Taco Bell one I think we have yet to use because they kind of suck.
Yeah, the Taco Bell one kind of sucks. The McDonald's one I think kind of is the same. I think in the same way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, but the other thing we were kind of referencing is we definitely, if we're staying at a Super 8 or something like that, and there happens to be like Fairfield or a Hilton or something next door.
We're going to trot our way over there and get their breakfast.
And I will say this, what makes it bad on me, I'm so selfish. These guys, you can get away with it all the time. They just sit there. I like to try to hold off.
Yours is more funny.
Yeah, I like to try to hold off eating until at least 10 o'clock, 11 if I can, for my breakfast. And so my problem is I am always going in there and taking them out of the building, which is much more obnoxious.
Yeah. And sometimes, you've done this when we're staying at a place for 2 or 3 days.
Right.
So and you'll do it every morning.
I'll be walking out, what I usually like to do. And by the way, again, to my selfishness and cheapness, even when I'm taking a nicer breakfast and knowing I'm sneaking it out, I will still get a plate of my breakfast. And if they have breakfast sandwiches, I'll be shoving them in my pockets for my lunch. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say another weird factor with this is I don't believe on this trip or at any other point when I have been getting a legitimately earned breakfast from a hotel, have I ever had any staff really get into a conversation with me?
Right.
And yet, several times for some reason, when we're stealing breakfast, we end up with some breakfast lady or whoever who talks to us for 15 minutes while we're eating the whole time.
I would argue that is the universe, on some level, letting you know that they know what you're doing, man. Not in a way of they're going to tell on you, not anything like that, but just hey, this person's going to interact with you and make it a little uncomfortable for you.
I kind of agree with you.
Thing.
Yeah.
So you have to have something balancing out. That old lady is typically the one.
Because this has not happened once. This happened 3 times.
It has happened 3 times. Yeah, I mean, you got some talkative like staff when it comes to that stuff.
Have you guys ever been worried at all about being caught? Like in
No,
a situation where like,
well, again,
he's walking out with it. It's
you guys, if you're gonna sit in there, I would never be worried.
Yeah, I'm not.
Have I been worried? Yes, but that's because I am literally like I said, at times, the place when we were at Hattiesburg, I was walking out with a plate of waffles, eggs, sausage, and like yogurt and stuffed pants with breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah.
Like I'm waddling like this out the door. Like I mean,
yeah. If you eat there, if you ever want a free breakfast, check out any hotel ever before 9 o'clock. I go to nicer ones, Hilton's,
Holiday Inn.
Hilton.
No, Holiday Inn Expresses are good.
Holiday Inn Express. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna say the only time I've ever felt close to getting caught. I shared this with you guys like probably about a week ago or whatever. We were in Craig, Colorado, and staying at a Super 8, and there was a Hampton Inn next door. And you guys had talked to this breakfast lady before me, I guess. And I went in there without thinking with my coat on because I was just cold. It was a little bit of a jog. And then so now I'm in this breakfast area alone with my coat. Which
and your PJs. I was going to say, too, I saw you walk away in your pajamas.
Oh, absolutely. But that's, I mean, my pajamas.
I guess that's more
makes me look more legitimate, yes. But I had my coat, and I was like, well, this looks weird. I'm one guy. There's nobody else in the
pajamas and a coat. That's a weird comment.
Yeah, and there's nobody else in the breakfast area. Just one guy who looked in from outside. And so I put my coat on this chair nearby. And I'm just like, whatever, I'll just grab it when I'm done. And this breakfast lady who talked to you guys comes out and ends up talking to me. She walks up, she goes, are you one of the comics? and I was like, okay, like I already get what's happening here. Talk to her for a little bit. And then she sees this coat sitting on this chair nearby. And she's like confused and goes to like take it to the lost and found. I'm like, oh no, actually that's my coat. Thanks,
right.
Like or whatever. And then she talks to me for the rest of the time. We get done. I go, wow, great breakfast. Thanks a lot. Pop on my coat and walk back out the front door.
Ridiculous.
And not even like I'm gonna go smoke or grab something out of my car situation.
No.
Just oh no, I'm done now. Bye.
I mean, yeah, I do have my little things because I'm weird about. I'm a little more self-conscious about it. So like that specific one you talked about, I was so happy because there was a staircase when you walked in the main entrance. There was a staircase right to the left where I didn't have to walk in front of the lobby.
I did the same thing as you, Eric.
And so I walked up the
Nice.
stairs to floor 2.
Yep.
Then came back as if I was coming down the elevator.
Yep.
And I was like, so in my mind, it made it look more legit.
Okay, so what was your guys' favorite either, like let's say food experience in general on this trip? I know there hasn't been a lot of them.
You know what, man? I mean, because I'm never going to count the cheapness. Honestly, we've only gone out to it a few times. That restaurant that we went to in San Diego,
I was gonna say the same.
That Mexican place.
No, that was awesome.
Like,
the
yeah, it was
food
really
was good. The atmosphere was good.
Full on,
it was a good day
portions.
we had. Yeah, huge portions. Those plates were filled.
Yeah.
And yeah, remember we got like those burritos. Like I got a burrito that was easily 2 meals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like Sloppy Joe's, but
too.
I didn't like that they only gave you one.
Right, right.
It's like it should be 2 for a meal.
The
It was
portions
pretty
were
big,
just-
though.
It was
Yeah.
pretty big, but I wanted to. Sloppy Joes are like literally my favorite food. It's
Right.
ridiculous. Sloppy Joes and mac and cheese. Like
You know what? If you're
take me to
paying,
camp.
and if you're paying like $12, $13 for a sloppy Joe,
Hey, give me 2.
yeah,
It was pretty.
It was a lot.
You know,
It was good,
honestly,
though.
if they had given you what they gave you and just put it on 2 buns, I think you would have not complained for a second.
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
you would have been
You're
because
right.
it was a big sandwich.
It
it
was.
was.
But I wouldn't have minded the second bun just because I like the bread with
Yep.
it. So I could have.
Yeah, I could have split that up because they were overflowing it.
Yeah, and that's
They
what I'm saying.
were
Like I said, if they give you the same meat but 2 buns, I
I
bet you
would've
would have felt like this is badass.
I
got
would
you.
have. I feel like they should just do that because buns are cheap.
Right, I agree.
Like, throw me an extra bun.
And it makes people, and by the eye, it'll make you look like I got 2.
I got 2. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think for me, it would either be the New Orleans place. I really loved, man.
All
Like,
those po' boys. were
dude, that
good.
po' boy. Yeah, and I got like a oyster po' boy or whatever. That was like a new thing I'd
Where?
never like experienced.
At New Orleans,
before.
we got those po' boys. That was pretty good.
I'm trying to remember.
That was like we sat on the river. It was cold. Ty was there.
Yeah. That was pretty good. I still like the meal at San Diego more.
I
Yeah.
kind of do too, but
And then
I did like that place you and I went to on Key West. That
oh yeah,
fish
you guys
place.
got a lot of food.
Those were huge portions. It was
Yeah.
like $10. It was cheap. It was like $10 for like a full fish and like sides and a drink.
Oh, which also, if we are talking about other times we went out, you did get a hogfish in Key West.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, we did get a
I forgot
hogfish.
about that.
Yeah.
That was good. That was a good meal right by our boat. Oh my god, dude, I already missed that boat. That was such a cool little area. Just sit on that dock and just be able to walk over. You're right. I got two meals from that restaurant.
Yeah, you got fish and chips.
Yeah, I did. The hogfish.
Hogfish and chips.
One thing I've thought has been kind of interesting too is that like we get to hit up all these like fast food places that are not that don't exist
right?
in Michigan.
That are like kind of original to that place.
Yeah, and I kind of like that. Like that's the one time where we will kind of justify getting fast food where we're like, well, it's like an experience. Like, you want to say you ate at Zaxby's or you got the fucking Publix.
I was going to say, Publix chicken, best of those options.
Yes, Publix chicken
hands down. They were fucking delicious.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, honestly, for the price, you got a little mac and cheese. You got a little other side, depending on what you. Well, you didn't have to get mac and cheese, but you got two sides, a bread, more than filling, by the way.
100%. Yeah. But did either one of you guys have like a particular? Well, I guess you said Publix.
Publix,
that would make sense. Yeah.
Zaxby's is good, but Publix is really good.
Oh, you guys remember what was the name of that other place?
The Wiener place or no?
No, the place. It was in Louisiana. We went to it.
Raising Cane.
Raising Cane's. I like that, man. Their chicken was fire.
Yeah, that was good.
Raising Cane.
That was where. Remember, we were in that hotel for 3 days because of the van, and we walked over to Raising Cane's.
Oh yeah,
we were watching Smiling Friends.
Yes,
yeah, I forgot about that.
Smiley.
Or
we didn't even think about see your face.
Some of those timeshare meals were pretty good.
I forgot we ate at timeshare meals.
Those timeshare meals were fire.
Right. We have a ton of Raising Cane's. Nice. Oh, they have Raising Cane's. That means in
Reno.
Reno. Nice.
Woo.
Yes, and their sauce is very good. You are correct, sir.
No, I forgot. You're right. We had meals like that breakfast at the timeshare, but we didn't pay for it. Essentially, that breakfast was good.
Honestly, the dinner was fucking fire.
Yeah,
it's funny we're remembering all these other times we did manage to eat out in some way.
We were like, but those are all before Key West, to be fair.
Yeah, that is true.
Because I think there was in the last month now of this trip, we have tightened up the budget.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yep.
Not that we were never willy-nilly, but we have, like I said, the biggest example would be like after 3 hours of driving, like, oh, well, we'll hit a Taco Bell because we just drove 3 hours. And now it's like, we have the bag. We'll find something in there.
Exactly.
Well, in the timeshare thing, that was on their tab.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so just to kind of wrap it up, I was going to ask you guys, what would be advice for somebody else doing something similar?
You can cook more food than you realize on the road.
Especially if you bring like a small stove or one of those like little little burners.
Yeah.
And a pot, you can make a lot of stuff. You can have full-on meals that you can cook. And I didn't think that before we left. I thought it was going to be like us making sandwiches and doing noodles and maybe eating out or whatever.
Yeah.
But we make like, burgers and spaghetti and like all
tacos.
Tacos. Yeah. And it's very easy to do. I feel like if you want to do this kind of thing, I would highly suggest just going to the grocery store and getting groceries.
Right.
Yes. Doing it. Also, don't buy too much. Get some for like 3 days.
Also, I would say, as hard as it is right away, try to stay away from the freezer section. Don't get in the habit of getting these little microwave.
That's something I do for sure, but I can't.
Not when we camp. Not when we camp. I would say.
No. Anytime we have a burner, I don't.
Yeah.
It's when we have a microwave that I do that. I will say.
Also, one thing I would say too is that Walmart does have either good sides, like we get macaroni, salad, baked beans, stuff like that a lot when we're looking for something like
and they last 2-3 days.
Yep.
Like you get a decent amount out of them. Like me and Scott typically split our groceries.
Yes.
And like that, thing of baked beans, definitely 2 days from 2 people.
Right.
Yep. You got their salads. You got like they'll do this shit like they have their store sushi, which doesn't taste great, but I mean it'll fill you up and it's got nutrition.
I actually think it's not even that bad. I don't get it that often here because I eat bad stuff because I eat really kind of cheap, which is not good health wise. But I work out. I try to do okay. It is only a small period of my life. It is what it is.
You haven't dropped dead yet.
I haven't dropped dead yet. And on that note, by the way, it is 12:40 local time where we're at right now, and I have not eaten my breakfast yet. And we've now talked about food for almost a half an hour. I'm done.
That is fair.
That's
That is
fair.
fair. Eric's got to eat his meal. His oversized bagels and
I got potatoes today, man. Scrambled eggs and potatoes.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, those potatoes pretty fucking good.
Delicious.
Are you gonna? So the bagel, I'm assuming, entirely plain.
Just eating it?
Yeah, probably. I'll microwave a bagel. Bagel.
All
Yeah.
right. So,
All right.
check out our other stuff. We have a show coming tomorrow. Wednesday, I'll be hosting it. It will be on the subject of worst things. Is how I'm going to word that.
Worst things.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Cool.